Hello, everyone. Very good evening, champions. Let me see how many people are there. Good evening, Miss Preeti. Good evening, Mr. Raju. Good evening, Srinivasa. Good evening, Swati. As always, on time. Good evening, Vithal. Good evening, Mr. Rajiv, of course. And good evening, Dia. And good evening, Tarang. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And of course, many more participants are about to join. I would personally like to welcome all of you on this amazing evening. Today, while I was planning to host this workshop, I was quite ecstatic. I was happy, excited, and at the same point of time, nervous as well. For the very first time after so long, I got nervous. Nervous not because of English, not because of I get chaotic in my mind, nervous because today there is going to be somebody. There is going to be somebody who is going to speak on this amazing topic called consistency. But before that, I would like to ask all of you, how many of you how many of you feel that you have challenges with consistency? Type I in the chat section. If you feel at any point of time you lack consistency, you find it difficult to continue the momentum, you find it difficult at times to keep up the pace, you find it difficult to sometimes continue your journey. If yes, please type I in the chat section. Let me see how many of you have challenges with consistency. Great. I can see all the participants typing I. In fact, I do encourage all of you to keep participating because in between you are required to do a lot of activity. So make sure that you become an active participant because someday you will be also giving the workshop. So, when for the very first time we decided to work upon this topic, consistency is something which is challenge. In fact, there is a famous saying that change is the only constant. So I was nervous that the person who is going to be speaking, he is, of course, I'm proud that he's one of my mentees, who is somebody who is an epitome of consistency, someone who wants consistency in his learning, in his personal and professional life, someone who does not only speak but practices what he speaks, someone who has seen this chapter closely, and that's why today he has decided to share his discoveries, to share his learnings to all of you. So, how many of you would like me to introduce the speaker? If you are excited, please type E in the chat section. You have to type E that yes, you are excited, you want to learn, you want to derive the principles, you want to understand how consistency works. Super great. I can see all the participants, you are quite excited to understand. To be honest, when I was in my school and college days, I was completely flopped when it comes to consistency. And I still remember one of my mentors, one of my teachers, he always says that consistency is the power. Consistency holds the power. If you are consistent with something, even there is a famous story of Amazon River. If you go on Google and search on Wikipedia, the famous story about river Amazon, which is of course one of the largest rivers of the world. Do you know that in its origin, where actually the Amazon River originates from, in every 8 seconds, the droplet comes down. In every 8 seconds from the source, there's a droplet which comes down, and slowly and gradually, this droplet consistently created an immense river, which is one of the world's largest river. I believe that's the best example that I can give, but many more things are there in store for you, of course, by the speaker. So without any further ado, let me invite the speaker of the day. So with super energy and proud, I would like to welcome somebody who has shown great deal of improvement throughout his journey, and today he is here to help all of us out. Mr. Rajiv, are you there?
Thank you so much, Arindam sir. So if you could allow me sharing, I'll get started.
Yes, you're the host now.
Great. Well, there is something on the screen which has always annoyed me. I would say on a daily basis. I can also say on a consistent basis. Because this is something, whenever I browse, whenever I'm checking some news website or checking an article, or maybe looking at even a cricket story, what's going to happen tomorrow, right? It's going to be India versus England 1-on-1 right now, and it's going to be the final match for the series decider. So this is something which keeps popping up. And every time I have to prove that, yes, I am not robot. I am not robot. I am not robot. But this thing has been probably a part of my life for about a decade on a consistent basis, on a daily basis. Of course, it's annoying, but can't help it. We have to live what we have got, right? Now, there is another thing, and it is more on a lighter note. So, of course, if someone's relative or someone is working in a government sector bank, don't take it personally. It's always said that the government sector banks take a very long lunch break. No matter what the urgency, no matter how many people are in the queue, whenever it's lunchtime, it's lunchtime. No one is allowed. So during those times, what people see is a consistent behavior. And you know what? The funny part is that whether you are in India or outside of India, Indian banks remain Indian banks. That's the beauty about them. They remain consistent. This is a tweet on the screen, which was shared by, of course, one of the Indian national when he was trying to go to a London branch of SBI, our very beloved SBI. And to his surprise, the doors were closed somewhere around noon at 12:30 p.m. London time. And the reason was that it's lunchtime. Doors are closed, no more business for next 30 minutes or 1 hour. And they wanted to have their lunch peacefully. Actually, they went a step ahead of the Indian branches, because at least in India, they would just put a board in front of the cashier counter, or maybe the manager would lock its cabin saying that it's lunchtime. But here, they went a step further. They closed the main doors, main gates, not allowing anyone to disturb during their lunchtime. Well, they remain consistent. They should feel proud, maybe, that yes, wherever they are consistent with the way they conduct their business and don't distinguish between the regions or the countries or the continents. So on these two examples, what's the key thing here? What I'm trying to talk about? I'm trying to talk about consistency. I'm trying to talk about consistency and why. Why consistency is so important. Why people, if you just go on Google and type building consistency, you would get maybe 10,000 pages. Why? There is so much of research, so much of content, so much of videos, presentations on consistency. Because it's way to success. It's how people become successful. Think about it. There are some things in life which have become so supreme that people attach success with it. For me personally, I think like happiness is supreme, but success is, of course, a big portion of happiness. If we are successful in whatever we are doing, even if we want to maybe watch one series on OTT platform over a weekend and it gives us happiness, somewhere it also gives us success, that whatever we plan to do, we are doing it consistently and we are able to watch a series in such a short period of time. So that's the key thing about building consistency. All right. So we talked about consistency. We talked about why it's important. Let's talk about a very plain vanilla definition of consistency. If you look online, or the plain vanilla definition is repeating something on a daily basis to achieve success. That's kind of a very high level thing. And I'm going to promise you right now that towards the end of this session, I'm going to share some very secret sauce, which is also very easy to follow. This consistency is something everyone struggles with and everyone wants to have it. So there are some easy steps through which we can have consistency in life. That's going to be the key learning from this presentation, from this workshop, which would definitely help everyone. I can assure you on that. So hang on tight. There is a lot to cover and a lot to learn. And towards the end, we would talk about some practical examples, which would help a lot in building consistency. Now, let's take a step back and think about consistency, thoughts, and what people talk about it. And along with that, we would also think about some other thoughts which are very prevalent in everyone's mind. One thing is, which I completely believe in, and I'm sure you would do as well, is the only permanent thing in life is change. So embrace change. What essentially this statement says is, every day, every passing moment, there is something in your life which is changing, and you can't avoid that. So that's why embrace change, adopt that change to become successful and maybe happy. So here, this thought is saying a very specific thing. Change is permanent, can't avoid that. All right. Now, coming on to the second thought, which says consistency is the key to success, which we just touched upon, which we talked about, right? Consistency says do something repetitively, over and over and over, repetitively. That's what consistency is, and that's the path to success. Whereas this initial thought, a prevalent thought, I believe in, majority of you would also believe in, is change is the permanent. These two are so on a different sides of the ocean. One is saying change, change. Another one is saying over and over, repeat, repeat, repeat. Wow. Let's dig this thought a deeper by maybe going with another example. And it's kind of an example which I personally relate a lot with. That was my childhood dilemma. One person used to tell us, or one teacher used to tell us, Kal kare so aaj kare so ab. What essentially it says is, whatever you plan to do tomorrow, do it today. What you plan to do it today, do it now. Whereas this second thought is, sabr ka phal meetha hota hai. Patience pays. Be patient. Why to hurry? Why to rush? No worries. Life is long. Enjoy your life. It's fine. Don't rush. Patience pays. And it always used to boggle my mind. Like, what should I do? Should I do tomorrow's work today? Or should I just take a chill pill and relax? Because, patience pays. Sabr ka phal meetha hota hai. At the end of the day, I started looking at these thoughts as two opposite sides of a coin. and I kind of started adopting them based on my convenience. When I have to study something or work on something, then what I would do is patience pays. It's fine. If I'm not in mood, let's not worry about it. Let's not keep um, having this constant thought of, oh, do it, otherwise we might see unsuccess or we might be unhappy. I would just keep myself calm that it's fine. It's fine. Patience pays. It's okay. Its time will also come when I would be more in mood and in that zone to study or do something. Whereas if I need to have something which is definitely I'm looking forward to very eagerly, then I would think about this statement. Whatever we need to do tomorrow, do it today. And what about today, do it now. For example, if I am expecting a bike as a gift from my father, so I would keep chasing him. Father, let's do it. Let's go to showroom right now. Why to delay? Don't you know? Kal kare so aaj kare so ab. Let's do it now. So in a way, I started adopting those two different thoughts based on my convenience. Now, coming back to our original two different thoughts, consistency is key to success and change is permanence. I want you all to think about it and tell me, are these two thoughts opposite sides of a same coin, or they're same side of a coin, but maybe there is some linkage between them and we are not understanding it correctly, or maybe there is more to it. There is more beneath it, what is there on the surface. So what I want you all to do is type in the chat section whether they are opposite sides of the same coin, type O, or do you think no, they are same sides of the coin, it's just some interlinkage between them which we have not talked about yet. So everyone, waiting for your responses. Tell me, opposite side or same side? All right, so I'm seeing some responses saying that it's opposite, and some are saying it's same. Great. So there are differences in thoughts, which is always good for any discussion, because that's how we learn and discuss and maybe think about things. Okay, so the answer is that these are, let's not directly go to the answer. What do you say? Let's take a real life example and then think about what is the correct answer. One common thread which in a way binds all of us is our enthusiasm for English. It could be for different reasons with different people. Some would want to have more hold and power on English so that they can be a great inspirational, motivational speakers. For some, it could be more to mingle up with their friends and families and be more casual when talking in English rather than continuously thinking. For some, it could be a way to grow in their professional career. Whereas a person would need to interact with their superiors, peers, juniors in a very assertive manner in English. And that's why they are enthusiastic about knowing English more in a better manner, right? So that's kind of a common thread between all of us. And what we are doing for that is, we are, of course, active thinkers. We want to take action. And what we do is we find coach. We find a coach and then we take some coaching sessions from that coach on a daily basis. Now, think about this. Suppose you just started talking to a coach, which could be very well, definitely right now, Arindam sir or Anita ma'am, or a different coach from this institute. What essentially we are doing is, suppose we talk to our coach on day one of our class, and then talking on a daily basis with the coach repetitively over and over again for a month, we are consistent in continuously learning more about English. And again, on a high level example, think that every day we are learning a new word in English. Every time we talk, we learn something new, and maybe I'm just simplifying that learning as one word. I know it's a lot more than just one word. So every day we learn one word on a consistent basis, day by day. After the end of the month, on day 30th, when you look at yourself, are you still the same what you were on day one? Not really. Now you know 30 more words in English. 30 more words in English. Your vocabulary has changed from what you knew earlier to now 30 words are added on to that. You have better understanding of English. There is a change which is kind of permanent, which was reflected in your learnings, in what you have done in last 30 days. So by being consistent, you have changed over a 30-day period. So if we go back toward those two original thoughts, change is the only permanence, right? Change is a permanent thing. Every day we are changing. We are learning something new, which is changing us, which is increasing our confidence, which is bringing so many different attributes to our vision of English. And at the same time, we are being consistent, repetitive, over and over and over. Again, the same thing, a same theme, a same subject. So that would definitely help in getting these two thoughts in perspective, which says consistency is key to success, right? And change is permanence, right? Both are related. Being consistent helps you, helps everyone to be the change, to be the driver of change, rather than changing into negative zone or changing into something which we are not very happy about. So to answer my previous question, both these thoughts are same side of the coin. Now let's make it more interactive. Let's make it more interesting. I see there are a lot of participants, and now I want to ask you a question, and I don't want a response in chat. This time, I want someone to unmute and speak it out and share their learnings or their way of consistency. The idea is the coaches were away for a week when they were themselves being coached in a workshop, right? So they were not able to take sessions for a week's time, which essentially becomes around 10 days if you also include the weekends. So we, the avid learners, the active thinkers about English, were on our own. During that 10 days, how many of you or whosoever was able to find consistency, even without the coaches, in learning English, in doing something in English, which could help them to keep things on like learning English on a repetitive basis? What did you guys do? Maybe one or two thoughts which you would like to share, that what did you do? How did you do? That's what probably would be a great experience for everyone to know. And here it's fastest fingers first. I'm going to only give 15 seconds, and whosoever unmutes first and starts talking will get the chance to share in this workshop what exactly, how exactly, like, of course, what involved. They could be doing something in vocabulary, could be in tenses, or could be in sentence formation, public speaking. There could be so many things. But how did they do it? How did they find that consistency in learning without the speakers as well? without the coaches as well. So time for everyone starts now. Hurry up. I'm only going to wait for 15 seconds. Come on, anyone? All right, the time is up. To be honest, if I would have been among you as an audience, I would have also stayed quiet because my learning plans were also on a toss. Just I wasn't able to be consistent. I fairly admit. And so when I was told about taking this workshop and share my ideas, how I think about consistency, the first thought I got on a very personal basis and very on a candid basis is even I am inconsistent. Whatever I want to do, I also struggle sometimes. But towards the end of the workshop, we'll find a perfect solution, and that would keep us on the track to remain consistent. I can promise you. But that's something even like I struggled, and I, in a way, on the same side as you all are, because it's difficult. It's difficult to be a consistent without a coach when we need some help. Definitely. All right. So now let's talk about consistency on a very high level. What, why, like we talked about consistency bringing change in our life, a positive, meaningful change in our life. And now let's talk about why consistency is so valued, why people call it a way to success. Let's link that relationship now. If you focus on that, what essentially happens is consistency. By being consistent, what we are doing is we are talking about a habit. How would you define habit? Something similar, right? Which you are doing on a daily basis. So by being consistent, you are forming a habit, and by whatever habits you have, define your life. And this life is what you would think about as being happy, as being successful or not successful. So this is the relationship between consistency and success. Consistency, for example, let's talk about a salesperson. On a consistent basis, on a daily basis, that salesperson is going door to door and talking about the products, the benefits, and in a way, it becomes that person's habit to sell those products. And that's kind of the life he is living, wherein he is talking to different people, taking their inputs, what is essentially they want, what exactly is missing in their life, and how this product can come and help them. In a way, that salesperson is living a life of selling items, selling products by negotiation, by good communication, by helping people in a way. And that's how the salesperson would define his life, his habit, and that would be the key success criteria for that person. Take, for example, a tennis person or a person who loves cricket during his school days, during his college days. And afterwards, even when, and that becomes a habit, of course, of that person. And even when that person gets into maybe a business, starts its own business, or gets into a 9 to 5 job, then also that cricket remains with that person by, and that person can play in the late evenings, can play some indoor cricket, or can play outside on the weekends when that person is off. So that's how people create their life, by whatever habits they have and whatever things they do on a consistent, on a long-term basis, defines their life and the success they have. If you notice, I have also strike out the UN, which is kind of the unsuccess. Why? Because there could be some bad habits as well, like a person smoking on a consistent basis, taking pride. Never missed a single day in my last 5 years without a single smoke. So definitely, this consistency has also developed a habit, rather a bad habit, which is going to have an impact on life, definitely. And but that could be a path to unsuccess, to not being successful. So I hope we have got some high level idea as to how consistency and success are related. Now, when we talk about consistency, how to get that, right? That's the $1,000,000 question. How to get that consistency? That consistency, can it be, can we get that based on motivation, inspiration? Can we do that? Some might say yes, right? If you are motivated, you would be consistent. If you are inspired by someone, you would be consistent. But you know what? This motivation and this inspiration ultimately gives us some huge surge of energy to do something very quickly. Agreed, but with a very lot of intensity. Agreed, but it's always short-lived. This has been proved in multiple researches that this intensity, this motivation and willpower is for a very short period of time. The consistency is something which would take us to our path to success, to reach our goal. Whereas intensity would take us ahead, of course, would take us ahead, but it won't help us to take us completely to the final goal. Well, the 15 seconds are over. Sorry. Overshooting right now. All right. So I was talking about consistency and intensity. I was talking about why this willpower and motivation is short time. We cannot just rely on our motivation and willpower all the time to learn something on a consistent basis. And here the consistency means not one day, not repeating for 1 month, not repeating for 1 year. I'm talking about a decade. A decade. There is a very famous saying, and I loved it. People generally overestimate themselves what they can achieve in 1 year and underestimate themselves what they can achieve over a decade. A decade as in 10 years. What a profound thought. Amazing. Because we always plan on a short-term basis, but when we look from a long-term perspective, things could be radically different. We could be a big change person, but we don't remain consistent to develop those habits, to build our life around that thought of ours to become successful. And like I was talking about, this motivation and inspiration and this willpower are exhaustible resource. They deplete with time. After some time, you would be tired. You would think like, oh, let me take a break. And after that break, maybe that motivation and willpower would not be with the same intensity. And you would just slow down and it would ultimately result in discontinuation of our effort to achieve that goal. What is the way around it then? Let's talk about something. Suppose a very plain vanilla example. Again, I love taking simple examples, build a story so that we can all relate with it. Let's think about, we want to be a writer and we want to write 100 pages book. It could be anything, a fiction book, a story book, or something to motivate people. We want 100 pages to write. What essentially, whenever we think about that task, we have to, of course, like do that task, we think like we enjoy writing, and that's what we want to build our habit on and want to kind of have that landmark of our life around success. The first thing which would happen when we look at it is, the first thing is the mind would take us away. The moment you are going to think about this topic, what you're going to do is, the first thing the mind would say is, hey, wait, just can we just quickly check Facebook and Instagram? Let's see what is there any new update. Of course, we are going to start writing this 100-page story. Let's just go on Instagram, let's go on Facebook. Or we would say, let's just check the emails, let's see if something has come up. And what would happen is, you would digress from your original idea of start writing right now, and you would go to in different directions. Maybe you would spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and after that, when you come back to your original task, you would not be feeling the same kind of energy, the same kind of, in a way, inclination to do that task. Has it ever happened with you? I can assure you, it always happens with me. If I have to do something, if I have to do some work, what essentially happens is, the first thing my mind does is, yeah, we'll do that task. Let's just quickly check the emails. Let's just quickly look at some of the news. Is there anything new which has come up? That's what happens, right? How many of you face the similar situation? Type Y as in they face this situation, or type N that no, they don't face such situation. All right. So I have started receiving responses. There are many people who face the situation. I completely agree, right? Completely agree. What's the way out? What's the way out of this? The simple way out is, we are looking at a task in its whole form. We are saying that, yes, we have to write 100 pages, and we are continuously thinking about that 100-page task. Essentially, the mind of us is wants small simple things. Whenever we think about achieving something big, at the same time, like, the mind would take us to smaller tasks, so that not to give us too much stress, or maybe take us to a different direction. So the first thing which we need to do to remain consistent is break that task into smaller tasks. That's going to be a big difference in our life. What essentially I'm saying is, like, rather than writing those 100 pages at one go, we should think about writing just one page today. That's all. We need to write just one page today, and not more than that. And even then, if mind thinks, oh, one page is too much, how can I do that? Let's go to Facebook, let's go to somewhere else. Then break it down more. Keep slicing the task until we are comfortable in doing it on a consistent basis. Here, like I said, we are talking about years here of being consistent to achieve something. And at the end of the day, we want to achieve that thing. So how can we do that? We can do that by slicing the task. And from one page, if one page is too big, think about one para. Let me just start with the first para of my story. And after that, I would come back with the second para tomorrow. Even if that one para looks too big to the mind, start with just one sentence. That's it. Keep starting small. And once you do it, you would realize that you might not see the whole thing together, that, oh, if I just write one paragraph, it would take me 5 years. It's fine. It's fine. This success, if not coming now, it would come later. But start doing it. Start being consistent. And there is another thing. It's all about enjoying the process. Enjoying the process so that whatever you are doing, you are feeling comfortable. You feel great about it. And after, when you start doing that, then this small task which you are finishing on a consistent basis, be it writing just one paragraph, celebrate that. Just say that you are awesome. And that's how you would get the energy to do it again tomorrow. When you start doing it again, celebrate that. Enjoying the process and celebrating these small wins are extremely important for our heart, for our soul, for our mind. I'm going to show you a video. Actually, one video Arindam sir showed in one of the session, and I really loved it. It was all about enjoying the process. It talked about some great successful people, and they were not actually looking for the success. They were not looking to reach that epitome of their skills. It just happened that since they kept enjoying the process, they kept learning, and scaling new heights. But I couldn't find that video. So this is a different video. It's kind of with a lot of different energy, and it's a very small 3-minute video. So I'm going to play that. Just watch carefully. It's a very fast-paced 3-minute, I would say, crash course on enjoying the process. Oh, is the voice coming? Looks like it's not coming. Wait.
Success is like a quiet daily set of tasks, real small. It's like that quiet walk to the gym, some empty ass gym late at night, over and over and over. Or as I sit there studying other great people and then comparing it with what I'm doing at Book Again, over and over and over. Doing 20 minutes of quiet meditation a day, over and over and over. Making the choice to eat foods that enhance my brain neurotransmitters, over and over and over. It's a very quiet process where you're just drawing your state from within yourself, doing these like simple little tasks and finding love in those simple little tasks. It's not this big rah-rah speech where you do this one thing and something big happens. Right, when we look at the leading sales professionals of the world, when we look at the best business people, they say she's gifted, she's smarter than me, she somehow knows more than me, she's got a better education, she had an easier background, she got lucky. For the cliche, because it's true, the harder I work, the luckier I get. I'm an ordinary person, but I focused on my craft. I had a desire to be excellent. I love what I do. Sharing in my books and speaking is my oxygen, it's my DNA. 4 in the morning, I get up and I'm working in my craft because I love it. I love it. The process is just as important as the actual path, because the process is going to make you the deeper the process, greater the reward. A real man in the dark, when nobody's watching, he couldn't even work. But he loves the process. Everybody wants to be a champion, but nobody's willing to put in the work that it takes to be a champion. Everybody wants to hold up the trophy and say, man, I did it, and nobody's willing to put in the work that it takes to do it. I love the process. I love the thought of working for what I want. And I firmly believe you're never supposed to wish for it more than you're willing to work for it. The 9 to 5 person, they make a sale and they're excited. When you get to my level and you get working, you try to get to the next level, you try to get to the next level, you try to get to the next level. A true hunter's goal is not the prize. A true hunter's goal is to hunt. That's what they live for. Because real lions like to hunt. They love the process just as much as they love prize. I understand it is in a process that you get better. It's in a process that don't nobody know your name, and 5 years later, you're one of the best in the world. Why? The process. I don't get up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm broke. And why do you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Because I ain't finished yet.
Well, amazing video, a very different energy than what I'm expressing right now, of course. And the key idea is love the process. Love the process. The idea here is that the hunter doesn't like hunting just for the prey. The hunter enjoys the process of hunting, and whatever that hunter is hunting, it's fine, but enjoying the process is equally important. That process is going to take people to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And that is extremely important. That enjoying the process. That's what I think the key message here is, enjoying the process. And along with that, do whatever you want to do. That thing of love of doing those things would take you to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And it's fairly easy said than done. I agree. There could be some things which we want, but somewhere we run away. We feel that it's a lot of hard work. And in a way, it's true as well. If we are not enjoying the process, if we are not really attached to that process and loving that process, we might just run away. But hard work is important in every aspect of life. Like success, consistency, hard work, they in a way go hand in hand. Let me share a very beautiful story around hard work, around enjoying the process, and around being extremely successful. There were two close friends. They both wanted to learn cricket. They started going to a cricket camp. Friend one was like, they started training under a same coach, of course, since they were going to the same camp. The coach could clearly see that this student one is amazing, is talented, is gifted. He is gifted from God that he's playing such a good cricket right from day one. Whereas student two is fine. He can do well. He needs to improve on, but he's fine. But this student one is going to make my name big. This student one is going to be the future of Indian cricket. That's what the coach thoughts were when both the friends started coaching under him. Time went by, years went by. And you know what? Towards the end of maybe in another 10 years, or towards the end of 10 years or 15 years, the student 2 was the greatest of all time in the history of cricket. Whereas student 1 was still struggling to get into even the Indian cricket team, and probably was more of a permanent person in the Ranji Trophy and not into the Indian team. Why? Because student 1 was talented but was not a hard worker, whereas student 2 was a hard worker. He enjoyed the process of playing cricket on a daily basis. He enjoyed taking a defensive stand. He enjoyed taking an offensive shot. He enjoyed doing all those things, and he loved the process so much that he was putting in a lot of efforts, hard work, and practicing for long on a daily basis, week by week, month by month, year by year. And the student 1 is Vinod Kamli. Many of you might not even know his name, but he was kind of someone who was in and out of Indian cricket team in early 2000. Whereas the student 2 is Sachin Tendulkar. Vinod Kamli was super talented. The shot selection, the way the pose through which that person was playing the shot was supreme. Whereas Sachin Tendulkar learned everything just out of his sheer hard work, just out of his sheer love for the process. And that's what defined the lives of success for these two close friends at one point of time. So hard work is definitely required, but there could be few other things. Like I mentioned, we talked about a lot of different things right now, and now we are going to the secret sauce of the day. We are going to talk about how to be consistent very easily. We talked about the consistency, how it's related to the success. And when we think about this consistency, success, it's important to get into a repetitive exercise. Start small. Whatever the smallest task you would want to do, which makes it very easy, start on that note. Stay consistent, keep working on that for a long time, and you would find a great result. Like in the video, a runner could be a no name, like no one knows that person's name. But after 5 years, since the runner enjoys the process, keeps running, and after 5 years, everyone knows, because he becomes the all-time record breaker, right? So it's very important. Like, don't plan your targets or goals for in a short period of time. Keep it for long term. It could be as long as 10 years. Don't worry about it, but you would get success. Time doesn't matter. So now, like I mentioned, I'm going to talk about some secret sauce. The first thing which I'm going to talk about, and very important thing, is celebrate yourself. Celebrate. And it could be a different celebration for different people. What I want all of you to do is take both your arms and say, I am awesome. All of you, I want all of you to celebrate yourself. It's extremely important. Each and one of you needs to celebrate that you are awesome, and you are indeed awesome. What you have to do is just keep your hands up and say, I am awesome. One more time. I am awesome. One last time. I am awesome. That's right. You all are awesome, and you need to celebrate that on a daily basis, because it's important that you celebrate your small victories. You celebrate being yourself. You are awesome. Now, talking about these things, wherein we talked about consistency leads to habits, and habits can require a little of behavioral change, right? What we are talking about here is that if we need to build consistency, we need to maybe make some changes in our behavior on a daily basis, so that we keep repeating the same task over and over again. So for that, what I'm going to show you is a very well-researched way of doing it, of changing our behavior by a very minuscule, by a very tiny amount, so that we become consistent. And it has done by a professor in Stanford, Mr. Fogg. And it's a very well-researched and well-published way of changing the behavior. So the first thing is motivation. There needs to be some motivation. You would think we just talked about motivation being short time, and we are again going back to motivation. Hang on. We are going to solve this riddle very quickly. Just hang on for a minute more. The second thing which we require to make that behavioral change, those baby steps, is the ability to do. Right? Now, if someone wants to go do a scuba diving, right, and that's what they want to do in life, or maybe scuba diving could be a one-time thing. Suppose someone wants to drive for a long time, for 12 hours on a daily basis, but for that they need to have a driving license. They need to have the ability to do it. And if that person is, say, 12-year-old, that is not possible. They are not allowed. So it's important that there should be some motivation, and there should be ability linked to it, that yes, we can do that. It could be difficult to do, it could be easy to do, but there needs to be an ability in the person to do that. And the third thing is the trigger point. Now, this trigger point is kind of the key. What essentially it says is, for example, let's now talk about health. Many people would want to be fit in their life, right? Someone may want to lose weight. Someone may want to be more muscular, be more athletic. Someone just wants to be flexible and have more endurance to survive, right? So people could have different goals around their health, which is perfectly fine. It all depends on individual. And then what that person needs to do is build onto their fitness, build onto their health. So definitely there is some amount of motivation that they need to work on their health. I would say this motivation is more of a idea, something which you want to achieve. It could be something. Another thing is the ability, of course. Someone looking to lose weight, someone looking to build something needs to work on themselves to build that. So they definitely have the ability. Everyone has the ability to work on their posture and on their body. What essentially we are talking about is these two things are there. The third thing we need is trigger point. And that trigger point could be extremely simple points. The trigger point could be while we wash our hands before we eat. That could be a trigger point, because eating is something which is part of our daily life. We need to consider those trigger points as something which we do on a daily basis, like washing the hands, maybe taking bath, eating, watching TV, watching a movie, reading a book. It could be any of those trigger points. And those trigger points can help build consistency. What a noble thought, right? Those simple things which we are doing on a daily basis, we just need to add few things here and there to get a new habit also formed as part of our daily life and be consistent about it. For example, whenever you think about having your lunch or dinner, and before that, when you sit, you would just take the person who is looking to become fit would just do 2 push-ups. That's it, 2 push-ups. There is some motivation to build on the health. There is the ability to do it, and it's very easy to do. I'm just talking about 2 push-ups. Every time you do, like every time before your meal, you just do 2 push-ups. So assuming that average person takes at least 2 meals a day, we are talking about just 4 push-ups a day on a consistent basis. But think about it, over a period of time, maybe in 30 days, you would have already taken 120 push-ups. And it matters. Your health would be benefited by those small things. There could be, like, this is, I'm taking a very specific example. We could generalize it as well. Someone could be struggling to manage their inbox, to manage their Gmail account because they get so many emails. Again, add a very simple step to it. Whenever I check email, I will make sure to delete some. That's all. You are going to consistently delete some of the emails, which is definitely going to make your inbox cleaner, better, in a better form, if that's what you want to do. There could be someone who would want to learn English, right? All they have to do is, whenever they maybe watch something or they think about starting a TV, the first thing they need to do is just think about any word, and just speak out a sentence using that word. That's all, and switch on the TV. If a person maybe is watching, maybe on an average, just 2 times a day or just 1 time a day, then over a week, that person would have gone through 7 different sentences. Amazing, right? And you know the beauty of this exercise, that people over a period of time would feel so confident, and like those 2 push-ups before meal would become a part of daily life. It would become a part of habit. Then those that people can also add maybe another pull-up before the push-up, before the meal. So the push-up has become a part of the daily life. Now you are adding another activity to it, which could be another 2 things. Overall, take 30 seconds before the meal. But those small things would become very big over a period of time and could do a great deal of benefit to achieve what we want to do. This is an amazing way of doing it. Many people have researched about it and they have been successful in doing that. And now, since I shared my secret sauce, I would just end this workshop and open it up for questions with one last thought. Forgive yourself. There could be some times when you would not be consistent. There would be some times when you would be struggling to be consistent or to learn something or to do something what you wanted to do. It's extremely important that you let it go. It's fine. It's fine. It's not end of the world. If you are not able to be consistent for some period of time, forgive yourself, because you are awesome. Always remember that. So it's fine. Legends make some mistakes. Don't worry about it. Forgive yourself and move on. Again, try to get into the same routine and try to be consistent and be on the path to success. Thank you everyone for being such a great audience. Thank you.
Yes, wonderful. I was completely involved into the process, and I can also see that people have started commenting. For me, it is one of the amazing, insightful workshops, because consistency is something which sometimes, to be honest, I'm accepting it. Even I find it difficult to maintain the consistency. But today, through Mr. Rajiv's insights, the kind of videos, the kind of golden nuggets, the kind of points which he mentioned, I commit that definitely one out of it is something that I'm going to apply in my life. So that, and the small step process, the small step procedure which Mr. Rajiv spoke of, wherein deleting mail every time whenever you check out your email, it is something which seems smaller. Push-ups, 4 push-ups, 5 push-ups in a day, but gradually this becomes a part of our innate nature, a part of our innate habit, and that's how we grow and we become better. So thank you so much, Mr. Rajiv. It really means a lot. It is one of the amazing, insightful workshops for me. Trust me, I was keeping a note of each and every single point. Being a trainer does not mean that we should not learn from others. I'm always open to learn from others, and always, like, each one of us should be open to learn from each other. Now, the session is open for questions and answers. If you have any doubt, you can unmute your audio. I have enabled the participants unmute option. You can unmute your audio, you can share your concern. And if you have any feedback to share, you can do that as well. And trust me, today just take a small step of unmuting your audio and speak 5 sentences, whatever you feel. And gradually, if you do it over a period of time, you will be marvelous. That is for sure. So you simply need to unmute your audio and speak whatever you feel, whatever you think of. Else, I will call each one of you by your name. So let's see who is going to speak it out. Okay, let me just invite. So Swati, at first we would like to know your point of view. What is your point of view? What's your takeaway? What's your feedback for today's session? Yes, Swati.
Sir, yes, I think the topic for today is consistency. That this is this problem that we all face in our daily life, and I find this session to be very useful, and I'm definitely going to apply all the information that sir has given us, and all the knowledge regarding the consistency. I'm definitely going to apply that in my life, and because everyone wants to be successful, and I think the key to success is consistency. So definitely, it's a very enlightening session for me. Very wonderful session that sir has given. So thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, Arnam sir, also for inviting sir on this workshop to give us such a beautiful session on consistency. So thank you very much.
God bless you, Swati. Thank you so much for the amazing feedback. It really means a lot. It always inspires the speakers to be more, do more, and have more. Now, let me invite the next speaker. Don't worry, just unmute your audio and speak whatever you feel like. Today, take that first step. So now I'm inviting Tarang. Tarang, it's your first day. Just unmute your audio and just speak whatever you feel like without any doubt at all.
Yeah, thanks, Arindam. And yeah, I think as Swati said, I think it was really a nice session and inspiring session. We got to understand some of the points because we all face this issue of consistency on daily basis. We try to be consistent for being satisfied, being and aiming towards the success. So I think thank you very much. There were some very important points, key points, which I got to learn from this presentation. So thanks for that.
And Tarun, for you, the challenge is next time, whenever we are going to connect, you have to make a 5 minute speech on whatever you have learned from today's session.
Okay, sure.
So, on the
Okay.
points which Sir has mentioned, you have to speak, and that's the assignment for Tarang and all of you, that you have to prepare a 5 minute speech on what you have learned from today's workshop. And if you do
Okay.
not do it, then there will be chaos. Virtually, I cannot come and shout on you. See, because consistency is something, commitment is something which we should do on from ourselves, right? So Taran,
Okay,
next
yes,
time 5 minute speech on the this workshop, and very soon I also want to see you as well, like Mr. Rajiv giving workshops.
sure, sure. Yeah, I hope so also. Thank you.
Okay. Most welcome. God bless you. Yes, now let me invite. Okay, we have another person. One more person I'm taking, and yes, Anita, ma'am.
Yes. So I just want to say you thank you so much, Mr. Puneet. This is a great kind of connection with this topic, because as I personally believe that consistency is something which is the key of success. And you just said so many things when you just showed that biscuit and the chunks. I could understand, I could realize it, that how it is important in our life. And consistency really makes us the more profound in our work. And of course it's very important for everyone's. Thank you so much for this great inputs insight. And it's a great thing that we just got a lot of ideas by getting your by showing your details, and we got lot of information. And thank you so much for the lovely kind of workshop. It's an immaculate kind of presentation today, and keep it up. We really want to listen to you more and more thing from your side. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. Thank you. Lovely presentation. Great.
Super. And on that note, I would personally like to thank Rajiv, Mr. Rajiv. I'm so proud to see your progress. I still remember on day one when you came, you literally asked me how to, like, how could someone speak for one continuous hours, and today you are doing it. And you have also started mastering the art of storytelling. The way you have put in the presentation, it seriously shows how great you are towards learning, accepting, and at the same point of time putting things into application. So we are literally expecting a lot from you, and at the same time in next presentation we want something massive, much more, so that students can learn a lot from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anand sir.
And on that note, I would like to congratulate all of you. Congratulate for giving your 70 precious minutes to your life, because these 70 minutes are definitely going to contribute a lot. If you work upon it, definitely it's going to change your life, and I bet on it, provided that you, of course, have to work on it. And at the same time, I would like to conclude the session till the time we meet again. So take care. God bless you. Keep a note of it, and 5 minute speech. Get ready, because you have to speak the same in the next class. So thank you so much. God bless you. Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, most
Thank
welcome.
you, everyone. Bye.